a cup of tea and get comfortable. We're right here with you again.
And the tea is metaphorical, of course. Unless you actually have one, in which case, excellent choice.
I do have one, and I'm pretending I made it just for this moment, even though it's been sitting here for 10 minutes already.
That's very honest of you. I respect that. Honestly, that already sounds like a very native level English moment.
See, we're starting strong. How are you feeling today, George?
Pretty good. A bit slow, maybe. One of those days where your brain needs a warm-up before it agrees to cooperate.
Oh, I know that feeling. When your thoughts are there, but walking instead of running.
Exactly. They're not late, they're just moving at their own pace.
That's such a kind way to describe it. And actually, that's already a really natural way to speak, right? Moving at their own pace. Little phrases like that.
Yes, and native speakers use them constantly without thinking. That's kind of the point of what we do here. Not perfect English, just real English people actually use.
Mm-hmm. And if you enjoy natural English conversations like this, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps us keep creating for you. Smiles.
And it tells us you're out there listening, which is always nice.
It really is. So today, I kind of want to talk about something very simple, but also very tricky for learners.
I'm listening.
Just chatting like a native. Daily, small, ordinary conversations. Not big topics, not debates, just life.
Ah, yes. The conversations that textbooks almost never prepare you for.
Exactly. No one says, "Today I will practice talking about my neighbor's dog for 8 minutes."
But somehow it happens.
And for learners, this is often where fear lives. They know grammar, they know words, but real conversation feels unpredictable.
Because it is. Native speech isn't clean. It's not polite little sentences in a straight line.
Yes, it's messy. People interrupt, they change topics, they forget words, they say, and constantly.
And sometimes they start a sentence with no idea how it's going to end.
Have you ever done that, George?
Never. I'm extremely prepared. Always.
Oh, sure.
All right, maybe once or twice a day.
And that's such an important thing to hear if you're learning. You don't need to sound ready. You just need to sound human.
Right. Native speakers don't wait until a sentence is perfect. They jump in. They adjust midway. They figure it out as they go.
Ooh, that's a good one. Figure it out as you go. That's such everyday English.
And it applies to language and life, honestly.
Very true. So let's imagine a simple situation. You meet someone you kinda know. Not a friend, not a stranger.
Like a coworker from another department or someone you see at the gym.
Yes, exactly that energy. What do people actually say?
Rarely anything impressive. It's usually something like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Which doesn't actually mean, tell me your life story.
No. It usually means, "I'm being polite and I acknowledge your existence."
And the answer is often, good, you, even if you're not good.
Especially if you're not good.
Oh, yes. That's such a cultural thing, too. English small talk is often about maintaining comfort, not sharing depth.
Depth comes later, or with the right people, or not at all, and that's also okay.
And learners sometimes worry they're being boring.
But boring is safe. Boring is friendly. Boring keeps the world moving. Y-
Wow, that sounds like a philosophy.
I didn't plan it, but I stand by it.
So, one very useful habit is learning a few flexible phrases, things you can use anywhere.
Hmm. Like, how's your day been so far?
Hmm, that's a nice one. It sounds natural and open, but not invasive.
And you can always follow it with something light. Busy or pretty quiet today?
And notice, you're giving the other person an easy way out. They can say, yeah, kind of busy, and that's enough.
Exactly. You're not putting pressure on them to perform.
That's such a good word, pressure. Conversation shouldn't feel like an exam.
But many learners treat it like one.
I know. Another thing native speakers do a lot is commenting on shared reality.
Explain what you mean.
Like the weather, yes, very classic, but also the situation you're both in. This line is so long today, or this place is always busy on Mondays.
That's very true. It creates instant connection because you're both experiencing the same thing.
And no deep vocabulary needed.
Plus, complaining lightly is almost a social sport.
Oh, absolutely. As long as it's gentle. You don't want to scare people.
No political manifestos while waiting for coffee.
Please no.
And this kind of talk lets you break the ice without effort.
Break the ice is such a funny expression when you think about it.
Yes, very dramatic for such a small moment.
But that's what language is. Old metaphors still doing their job.
And native speakers don't think about them, they just use them.
Which brings us to another thing learners worry about, sounding natural.
That fear never fully goes away, even for natives in a new situation.
That's true. Different country, different culture, same language. Suddenly you feel awkward again.
Exactly. Because language is only half of it. The rest is timing, tone, rhythm.
Rhythm is such a good word here.
Conversation has music, pauses, overlaps, little laughs, and you can't memorize that. You feel it.
And the only way to feel it is to be in it.
Yes, you don't wait until you're ready. You get the hang of it by doing.
Get the hang of it. Another great one.
See, we're doing it naturally.
We are. So, if you're listening and thinking, I freeze in small talk, that's okay.
Freezing just means you care.
And caring is better than not trying.
Also, most people are too busy thinking about themselves to judge you.
That's strangely comforting.
It is. People aren't watching you as closely as you think.
So, maybe the goal isn't to impress?
It isn't. The goal is to connect, even briefly,
Even for 10 seconds.
especially for 10 seconds.
I think that's a good place to sit for a moment.
Yeah, let it sink in.
And we'll keep talking, just like this. And we'll keep talking, just like this.
Right, because this is exactly how everyday English feels. A quiet, natural flow. Nothing dramatic, nothing forced.
And sometimes it even goes in circles, which is also very human.
Very. I think native speakers are champions at circling around a topic without ever landing on it.
Yes, and that's another thing learners don't expect, that real conversation is often kind of messy.
Messy, and yet meaningful. People communicate in pieces, and the listener sort of fills in the rest.
Like when someone says, long day, and that's it.
And the other person immediately understands the whole emotional biography behind it.
Yes. And they answer with something like, tell me about it. Another great expression.
True. It basically means I understand you completely, without actually saying that.
And sometimes you don't even talk. You just both make the same tired noise.
The universal ugh.
Yes. I think one of the most helpful everyday habits is reacting, not just speaking.
How do you mean?
I mean, little things like, oh, really? Or no way? Or you're kidding. These tiny reactions make conversation feel alive.
Yes, because English isn't just information. It's emotion, rhythm, connection.
Exactly. And learners often forget they're allowed to react.
Or they worry they'll react wrong.
But honestly, there's no wrong. If you react kindly, you're doing it right.
That's why another expression people use constantly is, I hear you. It's not literal. It means I understand what you're saying,
And it makes the other person feel seen.
which is a lovely thing in any language.
It is. And another everyday phrase is something like, it is what it is.
Ah, yes. The unofficial motto of accepting reality.
Exactly. You use it when you don't love the situation, but you're not going to fight it.
Like when your bus leaves 1 minute before you reach the stop.
It is what it is.
See? Perfect usage.
And something else I notice native speakers do is soften requests. Not, give me your phone number, but could you maybe share your number?
Or do you mind if, extremely common.
Yes. It makes everything feel more polite, more cooperative.
And it creates comfort, which is really the goal in everyday English.
Comfort is the key word here.
People don't remember perfect grammar, but they remember how you made them feel.
That's so true. Another thing I want learners to know is don't rush.
Conversation isn't a race. You're allowed to take a second to think.
Even native speakers say, let me think, or what's the word? Constantly.
Yes, we forget words all the time, daily, sometimes hourly.
So if you forget a word, just describe it. Say something like, what's the word? The thing you use to...
Exactly. Native speakers do that too. No shame in it.
Honestly, half of English is describing things we don't know the name for.
Or pretending we know, hoping the other person fills in the blanks.
True. And humor helps so much.
Yes, even a tiny joke makes everything lighter. You don't need to be a comedian, just a little playful.
Like saying, I'm running on coffee today, which basically means I'm tired.
Or I'm all over the place, meaning your focus is gone.
My favorite phrase for that is, my brain is buffering.
Very modern, very accurate.
You know, there's also something about tone, the way native speakers soften things with friendly sounds.
For example,
Mm-hmm. Ah. Oh, wow. Hmm. These little sounds carry so much meaning.
and they show you're listening. English is full of these tiny signals.
Yes, and learners sometimes worry they're not real English, but they absolutely are.
They're the glue that holds conversation together.
And honestly, everyday English is not about big vocabulary. It's about small feelings.
Exactly. The little things people share to show they're alive in the moment.
That's why I love this topic. It's simple, but it's everything.
And it touches life, culture, emotion, all in these tiny exchanges.
And speaking of culture, I think this is where everyday English becomes really beautiful. It teaches you how people see the world.
Yes, and the little comments, the small reactions, the way people say, no worries or you're good, it shows how they want to make space for others.
That's the essence of it. Not perfect language, kind communication.
So if you're listening, remember you'll get used to it, piece by piece, and each tiny conversation shapes your confidence.
And makes the world feel a little closer.
A little warmer, too.
What about you? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And now we ease our way into the closing, but not too fast. We still have room for a few more thoughts.
Yes, we're not running away. I want to revisit some of the expressions we used, gently, naturally.
Naturally is our brand at this point.
True. So we talked about break the ice, figure it out as you go, and get the hang of it.
And do you mind if? I hear you, and it is what it is.
Honestly, each of those can carry you through so many everyday conversations.
They're like little tools in your pocket,
Very small pocket.
but surprisingly effective.
If you like this episode, subscribe, leave a like, and share it. It really helps our little studio grow.
And it keeps Anastasia supplied with metaphorical tea.
Very important. Thanks for being part of our little English journey.
Wherever you are, have a wonderful day.